Alright, we're doing combo review today. I'm fucking excited. We got Uncharted for the PS3. I bought my copy for about $6. I bought all three games. I got the second one in Japanese, which is kind of sick. $5.99. I spent like $20 total, I think. Mine doesn't have the disc in it right now because it's in my PS3 still. I forgot to take it out. That's why it's not in the case. They're all in pretty good shape though. I'm pretty happy with that. We're doing the Uncharted Game 1 for PS3, and then we're going to combo it with the Uncharted movie, which I saw this weekend, or last weekend, I guess, with a friend of mine. So we're going to kind of compare his review to my review. I'm mostly comfortable reviewing games, but I'm a big film guy as well, so it's kind of fun to do a bit of a combo because it kind of worked out, release dates and shit. So I'm excited. Let's get into it. All right, disclaimer. This review is going to be completely spoiler-free for both the movie and the game. I did not watch any reviews for either the movie or the game by Critical, Donkey, whoever beforehand. I'm going to afterwards, but I want an untainted review going in. And let's start off by going over like the basic plot and how they kind of relate to each other. So first and foremost, I think it's important to understand that the game's canon, Uncharted 1, 2, 3, 4, are completely separate from the movie canon, which is, just the one movie. The movie kind of acts as a prequel to the first game, but it's not directly related. So going in, you can watch the movie on your own, you'll have an experience, you can play all the games and not watch the movie, you're fine. They're not the same universe, but they do relate. The plot between the movie and the game are pretty similar. They both follow Nathan, kind of chasing after his long-lost ancestor Francis Drake's treasure. And he has a friend called Sully. He's a bit of an older guy. Basically the movie goes over how they met and, what they do. They go after treasure. And then the game kind of picks up after that, where in the game you're starting off and they're friends already, so you don't really know much about their relationship going in. So I think it's nice to have this as complementary to the game, but it's definitely not at all necessary to watch. Yeah, the story overall between the movie and the game are basically identical. Slight alterations throughout, but they're basically the same, right? Nate and Sully, they're tomb raiders, treasure hunters, whatever you want to call them. They go after the treasure of Francis Drake and basically have to encounter bad guys, traps, basic tomb raiding bullshit shenanigans. And that's basically it. So let's talk about the gameplay first for the first Uncharted game. Then I'll go into my opinions on the movie and stuff because that's a bit more complex. Basically, the game has three main segments. You have walking from point A to point B, some parkour and puzzle solving segments. The parkour is a bit hard, but the puzzle solving is really easy. And then you have, they throw you into this open space with some crates and shit, and you have to kill like 100 bad guys and then walk to the next area. TVs display like 16 million colors, and Uncharted uses like 2 of them. All the enemies are dark-skinned in like camouflage clothing, so they blend in with crates, sand, rocks, poorly lit caves, jungle, trees. It's all the same fucking color, gray and brown. All the caves, when you're doing parkour in them, the only way you can know what you need to jump to next is certain rocks are colored a different shade of gray, but you can't tell because there's only 2 colors throughout the entire fucking game, and you're holding up a torch, so you can see jack shit. Because of everything being kind of colorless and bland, not only does the game become a lot harder, you're just jumping in random directions trying to guess at which rock is the correct one to jump on. It's really, really ass boring because there's only 3 segments. There's 0 boss fights. There's a final boss fight, if you can even call it that. That's probably the most interesting part of the game. But outside of that, it's those 3 segments repeated for about 10 to 12 hours. Really repetitive, really boring. You've got a couple guns to choose from, but there's only like 1 or 2 that are viable. Late game, you get some like SWAT team level shit, and that just makes the game super easy. But outside of that, there's 0 variation. Very, very boring. I would give the game like maybe a 4.7 out of 10. Really boring, really repetitive. But that's not the fun part of this review. The fun part is the fucking combo pack. Because not only is there a shitty game here, there's a shitty movie alongside it. Unlike the game, which aged poorly, a couple years old, $20 million budget, which for a AAA title isn't a fuck ton. The movie is brand spanking new, a week old, and $120 million into this dog shit action movie. So I'm gonna tear it apart limb by fucking limb and tell you why you shouldn't spend a single cent of your money seeing this unless you're really into dog shit movies. Uncharted movie is an action flick. It has Tom Holland in it and then the guy from Daddy's Home, the black fucking hair, I don't even know his name. I don't love them. They're not great actors in my opinion, don't deliver lines very well. I think they're casted poorly for this movie, but they're also the main selling point for people who are kind of just into shitty films, which is where Uncharted kind of gets its draw from. It feels so bland and so boring in the movie and in the game because it's trying to be a game that everybody on a PlayStation wants, or everybody who goes to movie theaters wants to see the Tom Holland movie. Even if it's dog shit, they don't care because this one has guns in it. That's really cool. This one has Tom Holland's ass in it. I'm a fan of that one. I should go spend my money seeing that. I don't love the casting and acting here. I'd like to see them both casted a bit older to kind of match the age of Nathan Drake and Sully. Yeah, they play kind of boring characters. It's a lot of talking for an action movie. Typical dog shit action movie stuff here. You've got poor directing, poor casting, a lot of jump cuts and fight scenes, which there's a very limited number of. Just giving me a fucking seizure with the amount of goddamn cuts, like 100 per fight. Absurd amount. How they made an action movie without a single gunshot in it. So there's only about 2 fight scenes. They both last about 30 seconds throughout the entirety of this action movie. Not a drama, not a comedy. Action movie. Not a single gunshot, not a single explosion. All the combat's done with like hand-to-hand shit. And it's really jump cutty, like I said. Really rare. A lot of just walking through tombs and talking. None of the conversation is really engaging either. It's just kind of bullshit nonsense. They solve some quote-unquote puzzles, but it's really just like put the key into a hole and twist it. Like, are you retarded? You can figure that out. It's not really a puzzle for the viewer to watch and kind of figuring it out themselves. Not really entertaining to see them do it 5 times in a row either as they walk through a dark cavern. You have $120 million. You can't find a better fucking scene than them walking through a cave for a half hour and talking? Really? Outside of it being a dog shit low quality flick, I'd say there's a couple things I like. Tom Holland, he's nice to see on screen. He's not really good at acting, but he's good to have on the screen. I like him doing some of Drake's animations when he goes for jumps or rolls or whatever. He kind of replicates the game animations really well, which is kind of fun, but not really redeemable for the film. Like I mentioned earlier, I saw the movie with a friend to kind of get a baseline. So he rated it 8.0 out of 10, and I gave it a 3.0 out of 10. That was recorded right at the theater. We just saw that right after the movie. Compared to the Rotten Tomatoes, it makes a lot of sense. I'm glad people got some enjoyment out of the film. I'm glad that Sony's getting a bit of cash. I like to see money in the gaming industry, of course. I like to see money in the film industry too, because I'm a fan of both. But I don't think there's a lot for me there. It was really empty. It was like a Tom Holland themed fucking cardboard box. I opened it up looking for something, but it's just kind of him. He's kind of the main selling point. There was nothing good about the movie. There was nothing interesting about it. The plot, the characters, the action scenes, which are kind of non-existent here, without getting too hard into the plot. Really boring overall. Not a great time. But I'm happy that the money's coming in, and I'm happy that some people did, give it a pretty high score. They enjoyed it quite a bit. If you want kind of my summary of the Uncharted franchise from what I've experienced, it's kind of like Indiana Jones without Lucas, without Ford, without any talent or care. It's just like a cash grab Indiana Jones. No color, no love, no action. It was just fucking sad to see. That's about all I can say about it, though. There wasn't a ton of depth to get into without getting into plot. I just want to do something quick, get something out there, because I'd just seen the movie and played the game. Thank you for watching.